So, I just got done watching tonight's episode of Arrow. Wow. It just totally hit me right here. Let's get into it. We see Roy is unconscious. Felicity and Diggle, they're looking after him, trying to figure out a cure, what to do with him. And the moment where Roy twitched was very creepy. And then when Diggle left, Felicity turns and Roy is gone. It was like, okay, this is kind of straight out of a horror movie. Roy shows up in front of her, and he has this look on his face where he's not really there. He's completely gone. Diggle comes back, Roy tosses him aside, and he just leaves. Then we cut to Oliver and Sarah. They're at a hotel, and they're just talking about their future. Possibly moving in together, maybe starting some type of a serious relationship. So, I really like them as a couple, and I was happy to hear them at least talk about maybe going to that level. Then we see Thea going up to her mom while she's being interviewed. And Thea, I don't want to say that I'm completely against her. I get why she's upset. Trust me, it all makes sense. But she comes off as such a bitch. And it's almost hard for me to sympathize with her, where I'm just like, come on. Just fucking deal with it. She's being difficult with her mother, which, boy, does that make me feel even worse towards the end of the episode. That we get a flashback of Oliver with Laurel, and I like that we got a bunch of flashbacks in this episode that wasn't about the island. I like seeing how Oliver was before Island, before being the Arrow, because he was such a different person. And seeing him with Laurel kind of shows that he's clearly keeping something away from her. Then he talks to Moira, and he confides in her that he got somebody else pregnant. Wow. I totally did not see that coming. We see Roy again, and he's on the streets, and Sin sees him. She's trying to talk to him and calm him down, but he beats up one guy, and then he punches Sin. So that scene sort of showed a lot, because I was wondering just how much of Roy is in there. Is he completely gone, or... And you couldn't tell. It seemed like maybe there was a part of him still there, because he recognized Sin and he stopped for a second, but he's kind of just a man full of rage. Moira goes up to Blood, and she tells him that she's going to pull out of this race to focus on her daughter and her family. And I was really surprised, and I appreciate the fact that, as important as this was for her to win this election, you see how much she cares about her family. And clearly, we've already known this from before, but this further shows that. Blood obviously couldn't be more happier about it. Oliver and Black Canary, they go to try to stop Roy, and Oliver is more in the mindset of trying to help him, save him. But Roy is beast mode, and he can't be stopped. The two of them can't take him on, and Roy even breaks Oliver's leg. He leaves, and these two cops stop him, and Roy kills the two cops. Fuck. How can Roy ever come back from that? Now, Oliver and Sarah are arguing over the fact that Oliver still wants to save Roy. But Sarah's like, we should kill him. He's too far gone. This is just like what happened on the island with Slade. And I see her point of view. It does look like Roy is completely far gone. But obviously Oliver, at least to me, is more right, because you don't want to kill off somebody like Roy. You do want to have that hope that you could save him. Then we see a scene of Roy out on the streets, and it looks like Thea finds him, and they're talking, but then you see that no, he's imagining this. Thea isn't really there. And if there's more proof that what's going on with Slade when he sees Shadow, this is just the effects, and it's driving Roy crazy, and that was interesting to see. Now, Moira has a very interesting moment with Oliver where he's talking to her because he doesn't want her to pull out of the race, and then she just stops him and says, "Look, I know. I've known for about a year, and she's proud of him." And I was surprised that she's known all of this time. I'm glad, in a way, that she's known because it makes her not look dumb, that she can put pieces together. And I like the fact that she was proud of him. She's one of the few people who, when they find out that Oliver is Arrow, they don't get pissed about it. And I know that was a big moment probably for Oliver. We see another flashback of Moira now offering $2 million to the girl that Oliver got pregnant. And at first, watching it, I thought this was a little, not heinous, but it was a little messed up. I mean, okay, so she wants to preserve her son's future. She wants him to be the best he can be and not have to worry about a kid and some girl who could be just after money messing all that up. So I get where she's coming from, but it's a pretty big leap for her to take. Then cut to the present where she changes her mind and she decides to stay in the race. Then Roy shows up and he's tossing people left and right. He goes right after Thea and he grabs her by the neck. He's about to kill her until Black Canary shows up. She's about to shoot Roy in the head. But then Arrow comes in, stops Black Canary, shoots 3 arrows into Roy, and it's like tranquilizers. So that knocks him out. So now Oliver's back to the point where he's like, we're not going to kill anyone. No one's going to die. We're going to save Roy, whatever it takes. And Sarah is sitting there thinking about how easy it was for her to try to kill Roy, how she was hell-bent on doing it. And the different opinions, different views that her and Oliver have is making her think that they're not right for each other. That she is so far gone as far as dark and everything that she's been through with the League of Assassins, that she thinks she's not good for Oliver. She's just going to bring him down. So she breaks up with him, and I was very disappointed to see her do that because I loved them as a couple. I really did. And again, it's a situation where I get where she's coming from. She's not completely wrong, but I think if she cares about him as much as I know she does, and she says she does, she should try to work through it with him. But I guess we all can't be happy. Now, Moira not only covers for Oliver when Thea says, "Where were you?" They're driving in the car, in the limo, and Thea, she's calling Oliver out on the fact that he must have known about Roy and what happened to him and what other secrets are they keeping. And just then, Moira's about to tell Thea something about Malcolm Merlyn. I assume it was the fact that Merlyn isn't really dead, because I don't think Thea knows that. I'm not even sure if Oliver knows that, to be honest, but obviously Moira does. She's about to tell them, and then, boom, a car hits them. And at first I thought that was the cliffhanger of the episode, the car crash, and I was like, holy crap, and then I saw what time it was, and I was like, okay, we still got a few minutes. You come back, and it's Oliver's point of view. He's delirious. He sees Moira over him, and then you see Slade behind her. And then when I realized that Oliver was tied up and I realized what Slade was doing, my reaction, my facial expression for the next 5 minutes was, that was it. I had that one expression. I didn't move at all. I just was shocked because I knew that Slade was about to kill either his mom or his sister, and he was going to make him choose, just like what happened on the island and how Shadow got killed. That was so intense. I didn't know what was going to happen. And Moira steps up and says, there's only one person that's going to die. I'm not going to let my kids die right now. And she sort of steps up to Slade face to face and says, do it. And Slade makes it seem like he's so impressed with her bravery that he's going to back off and say, okay. But then he turns around and he stabs her with his sword. And Moira is dead. I just totally did not expect that. And I was so upset by it too. I mean, maybe I was more upset for Oliver because his reaction, he basically fainted. He passed out just from the shock of it. And it was pretty messed up. Just Slade, I swear, when I think he's done the worst, he goes and does something 10 times worse. We get another flashback of Oliver with his mom, and it's him finding out that the girl lost the baby, but she really took the money that Moira offered her. And it was a nice moment between Oliver and his mom. I mean, again, I don't know how much I care for what Moira did in this flashback, but Stephen Amell's acting was so good in that scene, mostly because he shows that different character that Oliver Queen was before the island. Like, he was such a different person, and the emotion that he felt, the back and forth of being upset, and great scene. And it was really touching because that's kind of how they ended it. They ended it with the two of them, and then you cut to Moira's dead body, and that was it. Wow, what an episode. Seeing Red was the name of the episode. And yeah, this was intense. This was a really good episode. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end. We got 3 episodes left. This season has not disappointed me at all. And Slade is just that much more evil. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this episode? Like and subscribe. Later.